everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition is heating up, and it's coming from the strangest of sources, because remember that lawsuit filed by gamers on behalf of gamers, and everyone online and even the judge in the case was like, what? Well, turns out when the judge dismissed it the first time and said, the way this works, kids, if you want to file a lawsuit, you need to give me some type of evidence for this lawsuit. And so these gamers said, okay. And they have. As spotted by Axios, a key piece of the plaintiff's evidence is alleged to be an internal email they say was sent by Microsoft's head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, to Microsoft's chief financial officer for Xbox, Tim Stewart. The purported internal Microsoft email is described as uncontroverted evidence that Microsoft had the intention to put its main competition, the Sony PlayStation, out of the market. And sending a coworker your plan to get rid of the competition via unsecured email is not the smartest of choices, but apparently that is what happened, and somehow a bunch of gamers got their hands on it. Forget my old-timey newsreel analogies or even the Game of Thrones analogies. We are in full soap opera analogy territory now, because the twists and turns don't stop there. As soon as this letter began getting traction online, a Microsoft rep clarified that while they couldn't divulge the contents of the email, they're able to say now that it was sent in 2019. As reporter Stephen Totillo stated, that means that whatever anti-PlayStation sentiment strategy it may contain preceded Microsoft's offer for Activision. And yes, 2019 is before this whole Activision Blizzard acquisition thing started getting rolling, but the sentiment was there. And this is a strategy. If you're going to pick up Call of Duty, if you're going to pick up all the Blizzard games, this is a way to fulfill that goal of destroying PlayStation. Sure, it's not a linchpin to the case or some sort of smoking gun that, oh, we finally have the evidence. It might not in the end even affect this lawsuit, but it does explain a lot. First, all the behind the scenes drama and just some of the ridiculous tactics used by Xbox to kind of push this whole acquisition through all the federal government things like the CMA and the FTC and the European Council, all those different things. It explains their aggressiveness and desire to make this happen because it's part of a bigger strategy. And even though they're saying, no, we want to play fair, and this is, we all knew that wasn't the case. Everyone with a brain knew that wasn't the case. The objective of business is to put the competition out of business. That's how capitalism works. And second, which I think is even more interesting, is Matt Booty, who is the focus of this email, he's the sender, has been doing a publicity tour like crazy. Ever since the showcase and leading up to the FTC rulings and the court hearings and whatnot that are happening in a month or two, he's everywhere. And it seems pretty interesting that he's now the face of like, we're doing this for good. What do you mean? We're trying to give gamers the best of both worlds. Okay, you. Is it correlation? Is it causation? I don't know. You decide. Let me know in the comments below. In other news, it looks like EA's new hot first-person magic caster game, Immortals of Aveum, has been delayed. In a statement made on the Ascendant Studio site, CEO and game director Brett Robbins shared, "As you know, this is our first game as a self-funded independent studio. We set out 5 years ago to ambitiously make an original magic FPS in a new fantasy world. The recent feedback to the game proves to us what we already felt, that Immortals of Aveum is something special. In order to realize our full vision, we are going to take a few extra weeks, making our new launch date Tuesday, August 22nd. And yeah, admittedly, Immortals of Aveum has a good amount of interest online and a lot of potential, so it makes sense why Ascendant Studios and their parent publisher EA would want to make sure they got it right, especially considering a lot of games recently haven't. And EA definitely knows what it's like to have a rough launch. Andromeda and Anthem. That all being said, August 22nd is a rough launch window because that falls squarely in the range of Baldur's Gate 3, Armored Core 6, and Starfield. And because it's a new title from a studio that hasn't produced any big titles before, this is one of those things where I'm almost afraid, even if it's great, it's going to end up like every Horizon game, where Horizon comes out and everyone's like, oh, Horizon game. And then something else bigger comes along and takes away any possible audience it would have. And then it just sort of is only played by me. I don't know, man. This is gonna be interesting. It's not the best time to launch if I was going to push a game back. Anyway, speaking of pushing games, I'm gonna push on you. Oh, that's rough. The Final Fantasy 16 playthrough happening right now on the channel. I'm going big. I'm not gonna do one of those like an hour a day. No. We're doing 4-hour chunks. If that's your jam, I hope you enjoy. I'm giving you more than enough. And I cannot wait for you to see. I've played so much. God, this game's so good. If this is a review, I'm going to say right now, if this is my Jesse review, what I've played so far, I haven't beaten it yet. What I've played so far, this is straight up Game of the Year material. And it might be, like I said, I haven't beat it, so I don't know the ending, might be the best Final Fantasy ever made. I am absolutely blown away. So tune in for that if you want to see what I'm talking about. It's on this channel. And I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.